Hey, people. I got invited to the company crawfish boil yesterday, and I stopped by to pick out a good wine for the occasion. And I thought that this young Lynn 1829 would be a good fit. So I saw the only people there were the ones I invited and employees, and I quickly figured out that this was my christening into the family. So after about 8 or 9 of these, this bird on here started jingling at me. And it's an eagle, and other pictures of it, they try to show that he's got his eye on you. And so this old Jingaling is supposed to be the oldest brewery that survived Prohibition in America by brewing a beer that was less than 0.5% of alcohol per volume. So Jingaling came from Germany with his daddy's Hebrew recipe, the brew where make, brewery where make. And so all your brewers are alchemists, so there's probably many different meanings to what this says up here. But ing is the act of motion, ring, to make cycle carry. You hit it and the cycle carries, it keeps ringing. Ing. And angling is when you're fishing, you're angling, trying to get an angle on them to get them to bite your hook. And so if you're jigging for crappie, you would be jingling. If you're angling, if you're fishing, a jingle is the best way to do it. I've seen an old woman jingle fishing before, and what she would do is she'd go out every day and feed the fish and splash the water with her cane pole. She was ringing the bell to let them know the food was there, the dinner bell. And then on days that she wanted to eat fish, she would just come by and splash that pole in the water, and all the fish showed up. And so she could pretty much select out the fish she wanted, jingling. You could see it in the word jingle, in the jingle, jangle. A jingle is a memorable short song or snippet, just a little jingle. A little catchy tune designed to catch the attention, a little jingle. The jingling, the fishing lager, the fishing beer. But these block style letters like this, all capitals, they tells me that this reads forwards and backwards. It's the Lodge Regal. And it's like the lager eagle. That's what you see here. You see a eagle. He's got his claws sunk into a keg of lager. But this word lager, that's where it comes from, is lodge of regal. It's where you're going to store it. The lodge was the storehouse. So the Lodge Regal was the storehouse for the kings, as in beer brewed for keeping. This is what we're going to keep for the log of rabbi, or the rabbi's brew. They say this word wasn't common till 1850s, but he started brewing it in 1830. So you can see in the claw, in the barrel on the end, it says Y and S. They say that's for Jingaling, son. I'd like to know what it said before that. I bet it just said juice on it before, which would be spelled the same in Hebrew. J and is Vav, J-U-S, or possibly J-U-M, a final M pronounced as a S. But yeah, that would be the juice, the day. It says he got here in 1828 and opened the brewery in 1829. It was called the Eagle Brewery and changed its name to D.G. Jingaling and Sons in 1873. But this map looks otherwise. It looks like it's colored for two different businesses here, the Eagle Brewery and D.G. Jingaling and Son. So this traditional up here, it doesn't even mean traditional till you read it backwards. In this way, it's the T is the seal. The mark was at first, and add it tie on all. Had it tie on all. And so it's like a fractional or a radiational. A radii is it means a constant. It's gonna, it means proportion. A radii is gonna be the length of a radius wrapped around the circumference, and so it's gonna keep a constant angle. If you make a bigger batch, you might have a longer radii, but the angle's still going to be the same, to keep it consistent. And so it's the C radiational, to the same old measurements. The annoy, on, call attention to annoy, denoy, tide, art. And tide is your old word. That's where time come from, tide, T-I-D. It's because all time had to do all with the tides, and of the tide of the on call attention to the time arts, the timeless arts, the way the God said to do it. And then, the origin all, or the origin of, the lager eagle, the lodge regal, amber beer. Amber is just a little, a small spark to start the fire in ear. And then this caught me on the bottom. Buy a America, like a Merry Christmas. Well, this is America is your soul. Buy America, a merry soul. And so the S is reading with this, the soldest. The soldest means like, I haven't talked to somebody in a long time because they had problems, and you went and you fixed up the old joinery. Soldest means to resolder, to go fix the old joints. It's where your word solidates or consolidates comes from, to make stronger. From a Latin solidatus, or a solder, of the brew, ware, make. The brewware, ER, and the yard is to make. And so a merry soul sodest, a merry soul repair. It's going to fix your frown, put a smile on your face. And so what it says, is Jingaling, the tradition of annoy, tide, art. The annoying tide up in the art, and you see it in all these old brewing symbols. And so he had, the lager eagle. And it wasn't a lager eagle, it was a lodge regal. It was the king's brew. And we know this is the first thing he was brewing because that became his seal, was that eagle. And so nobody started using this word much until 20 years after he was brewing. The beer brewed for keeping. And so nobody had a lager before that. And they only named theirs lagers because it was similar to his beer that wasn't really called a lager. It was a Lodge Regal, the Royal Lodge. And so you might read this, a merry soul's soul dest, SOL, the one destination of the brew, where, make. So I found a bunch of good stuff in the Hebrew, and that's what'll be coming up next. I remember a couple things I had teased on and haven't got back to yet. And Lucky 88, I got your letter, and I can make out every word except that one that comes after, at times lacking Natra, and runs off the page. And I'll answer some of your questions on the next movie. My head's still cloudy from them 10 Jingalings yesterday.
Don't forget, hooty hoot, I won't forget.
Alright, I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.